India is growing faster than almost any other major economy on Earth, but feeding that kind of industrial and technological expansion requires staggering amounts of raw energy. That growth relies on a precarious supply chain. India imports over 85% of its crude oil, alongside huge volumes of liquefied natural gas. Relying on foreign ships means the nation's core economic engine is exposed. Every time there is a geopolitical crisis or a sudden supply chain bottleneck, global fuel prices spike, and the cost of doing business in India immediately goes up. Energy security is impossible as long as foreign suppliers dictate the flow of fuel to Indian cities. Stabilizing the economy requires a domestic source. To address this, the government launched the Samudra Manthan Mission, a national push to locate and extract energy reserves from the country's own deepwater basins. The primary focus of this new initiative sits far off the eastern coast, beneath the tropical waters surrounding the Andaman Islands. Recently, crews positioned a rig 15 kilometers offshore, dropped a drill string through 355 meters of water, and hit the seabed at Sri Vijayapuram-3. Out of the 3 exploratory wells drilled by Oil India in this campaign, 2 have already reported the presence of hydrocarbons, suggesting a high success rate for the region. Geologists have always suspected the Andaman Basin held gas, and these initial strikes provide the physical proof. The question now is whether the volume of gas justifies the immense cost of deepwater extraction. To confirm the strike at Sri Vijayapuram-3, engineers pushed the drill more than 1,900 meters into the seabed, piercing a specific layer of ancient rock known as the Eocene Formation. When they tapped into that pressurized pocket, raw natural gas rushed up the pipe, allowing the crew to verify the find through continuous flaring at the surface. While the flame proves the gas exists, scientists must still determine its quality. They are currently conducting isotope studies to trace exactly how and when this gas formed underground. They are specifically testing for the gas's calorific value. This metric tells engineers exactly how much usable energy is released when a specific volume of the gas is burned. A large flare is an encouraging start, but the chemical density of the gas will ultimately determine if the site is commercially viable. Preliminary seismic estimates suggest the basin could hold between 307 and 370 million metric tons of oil-equivalent hydrocarbons. If these numbers are confirmed by further drilling, the region could mirror the recent offshore discoveries in Guyana, finds that completely reworked that nation's economy and global standing. However, deepwater extraction is capital-intensive. It requires specialized global experts and highly advanced rigs that cost millions of dollars to operate every day. The government must weigh these massive upfront costs against the long-term savings of eliminating expensive LNG imports. Despite the costs, officials remain optimistic, viewing the Andaman Basin as one of the country's most critical emerging energy frontiers. It is an enormous financial gamble. The Andaman Sea will only yield a profit if these reserves prove to be large enough to offset the billions required to reach them. Even with a successful strike, the timeline for usable energy is long. Moving from an initial discovery to commercial production in deepwater typically takes about a decade. The next years are dedicated to appraisal and reserve estimation, drilling to define the gas field's exact volume. Following appraisal, engineers lay miles of subsea pipelines to carry the pressurized gas to the mainland. Only after commercial approvals will gas reach the domestic market. While this single well provides no immediate relief for energy consumers, it confirms that the Andaman Sea holds a massive domestic reserve. The discovery establishes a long-term fuel source in the deep sea, creating a physical foundation for the country's energy supply.